Good evening, good people. Welcome to Coastal Conversations, powered by A Better Glynn. I am Bobby Henderson, your host for today, along with my good friend and companion, Miss Kendra Hutchison Holmes. Say hello to the people.
Hi.
And we are here to talk with my bro, my brother. Uh, Words can't express how much this man means to me, Mr. Jason Fields. Talk at him.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing, everybody?
So, of course, if you don't know by now, A Better Glenn is hosting our first gala, our first fundraiser. It's a lot of work, and we are doing everything that we can in order to make sure that this event kind of sets the stage for the future of events. Like everything else, we try our best to work with small businesses and minority businesses. So Jason has graciously decided to come down from his home of Columbia, South Carolina, to come back home and film for us, document the occasion for us, and we're ecstatic to have him back home with us. Jason is also a co-founder of A Better Glenn. Uh, when we put this thing together, there was 10 of us that didn't really know one another except through social media, and uh, we just said, "Hey, we see you doing work in another area. Come, let's build something together." And Kendra and Kendra Roll and John and Shamika and so many others were a part of uh, that birthplace for A Better Glenn. And it was just something special to me for the work that I've been doing here to have people come together and do that work. And uh, they've all become family. Jason and I have known each other for quite some time, um, from going to church together and just being bros, having those early morning breakfasts when we got together as men to talk about the things of this world. He was right there when I started my urban discipleship uh, program with 2-1, and he's just been there the whole time. So it means a lot for me to have Jason as a part of our founding at A Better Glenn. Uh, Jason, uh, tell the people why it was you answered the call that day uh, to say that you would be a part of what we were going to be doing.
Oh man, did I have a choice, Bobby? At this point, it's like, you know, y'all just gonna deem me an honorary member, even though I'm 3.5 hours away. And I just got so much love for everything y'all do, and just the fact that you guys are active. I can't remember who said the quote, but Walt Disney. I think it was Walt Disney about the best way to get something done is to stop talking and start working. And y'all's I don't know if that was y'all's first T-shirt, but that's kind of like the slogan of A Better Glenn. They talking and we working. So
We're
I
working.
love like people who take action and and don't make excuses and they just get things done. And as far as like community outreach and everything that you guys do, I'm riding with y'all to the end. So at this point, it was just a matter of if I was available, I'm coming. So yeah, man.
Man, I appreciate that. Uh, Along with that, while you're talking, while you got the mic, uh, kind of talk about how you got into your craft and where it's taking you so far.
Oh yeah, man. So I always like to say, it's always those moments of a lot of time it's the moments of like childhood inspiration. And I just remember growing up and my mom having like this old film camera. Like I got some of these cameras on the wall behind me that are like from the 70s and 80s. And I still use them because it just reminds me of that era when I like first started thinking about photography. And at the time it was just like that's an adult thing and it's kind of boring, but I'm kind of interested. And so I just remember them buying me the little, the little cameras that you put film in. You couldn't do much to them, but you just took pictures. And I just remember that process of feeling like the anticipation of, man, I wonder what the trip to Disney World is going. I wonder what me walking down the street and taking pictures of the wall or whatever it was is going to look like. And I don't know. It just kind of fits my personality, man. I'm always anticipating what's next in life and what's next in business and marriage and in my walk with God, and just always trying to look towards the future in a positive light. And so photography is kind of like that for me. It literally is light. It deals with exposure, and so it just back in the day, it didn't give you instant gratification, and I kind of appreciate that now, even though we have cameras that will give you the shot right away. So it led me from, that point in life to kind of putting it away for a long time. Even my teenage years, I wasn't interested at all, to being an adult and trying to figure out, man, how am I going to like supplement this 9 to 5 that's not paying me enough? And what can I pick up? And what do I have? I remember even asking clients like, what you think I should do? Should I start trying to learn something new? And I remember an older guy on St. Simon's told me like, what have you always done that you love, but maybe you're just not doing it now? Because you're too smart of a guy to not have any other hobbies or talents. And I remember thinking, man, you know what I did? I do know how to take some pictures now. Like I can do that. So I just kind of picked it up from, it was kind of birthed out in between necessity and just wanting to, dive back into it in the modern age. And I started doing it part-time, working at the port in Brunswick, working for a company called Imports. We were doing a BMW, Rolls-Royce, Mini Cooper account. That sounds fabulous if you're driving one. But I was working for him at the time, and I had a supervisor that just believed in me. He allowed me to be the only part-time employee at the whole facility. And I had to go back through a temp agency, get rehired as a part-time employee because they didn't have a such thing. And then I spent he let me work whatever 3 days a week that I wanted. And I took the rest of the days off and I just grinded, man. I grinded. I tried to learn real estate photography. I started doing portraits. I started taking on anything that anybody would allow me to do. And it just led me down a path of discovery, man, that, if you have something, don't sit on it, especially if you're in a season of need financially. Use what you got, man. We got social media out here nowadays, and through that, the doors just started open. And I think it was really just the faith to do it that started opening the doors. It's not like I pursued any one particular thing that I do now in such a hard way or anything. It just was just going for it, and going for it allowed me to just produce work that I tried to do the most in excellence that I could. And somebody that saw a house one day just figured, well, if he could take a picture of a house that good, well, maybe he could do my daughter's wedding. I did not know nothing about it, but it led me down that path. And so I just took everything I had coming. In Brunswick, it's like, you can't try to be no master of one trade. In certain fields, like, you better take what you can get. You know what I'm saying? So I always tell people starting out, man, don't be bougie, man. If somebody asks you to shoot it, get the experience, because you never know where it'll take you. And because of that mindset, it has taken me down a lot of paths, man. It's taken, it's opened a lot of doors. It's nothing but the grace of God, but it's opened a lot of doors just by being willing to try. You know what I mean? I am not like the smartest guy in the world, but I'm smart enough to know, give something a chance. The worst thing that can happen is you don't like it. You can get a no. You know what I'm saying? But that's the worst that can happen. Give it a try, see where it takes you. And it's opened a lot of doors of opportunity now. I'm currently working as a marketing director at a commercial construction firm here near Columbia, South Carolina. It's in Lexington, Montgomery Construction. And then I also still do all my own work freelance on the side. And I subcontract with Travis Green and Jackie Green at Ford City Church pretty much on Sundays, and for whatever in other supplementary stuff they have in between that they might hire me out for. Yeah, man. And I'm still taking clients and offers. So if anybody needs something, just let me know. Shameless plug.
Kendra?
Am I on? Bobby, what did you say?
Just wanted you take the next question.
The next question for Jason. So I wanted to, or we just wanted to ask you, how you feel about doing the gala. What do you have planned? If there's anything in particular or special you want to capture for the gala?
Oh man, I just think everything, man. My approach to like any event is normally like holistic. Like I want people to see sides of it that they, even if they're there, sides of it that they may
Mm,
not see. I have kind of like a fly on the wall approach to just my creative viewpoint on shooting anything. I don't like to distract. I mean, sometimes you got to walk across, you got to be in the way a little bit, but I like to kind of just be there in moments where people are not expecting me to get certain shots, or they might not even be thinking that I'm getting a shot. I sneak it in. So I like to be kind of a sniper. I love to surprise people later with angles or perspective, or just a thought process that they might not have even had that night, even being there or even hosting the event. I want you guys to even be blown away, if I'm honest. Like I can't tell you everything, but I just like to deliver excellent surprises. You know what I mean? I want it to be atypical. I want it to be.
uh-oh.
Your mic dropped out, Jay. So, with regard to that, hopefully your mic picks back up. With regard to those shots, man, and how long you've been doing this, do you ever like look at your work and be like, dang, I'm good? Like, do you have those moments where you like surprise yourself at how good your work comes out? It's still muted, Jay.
Yeah, his mic's still muted.
There you
My
go.
computer
There
just
we
shut
go.
off, so my mic went out on that. But can y'all hear me on the phone?
Yeah, we can hear
Yeah.
you.
Y'all can hear me. I'm sure it's not as clear, but
It's clear.
um, what was the last question, Bobby? I'm sorry.
Like, do you just look back at your work and see your art and get blown away yourself? Like, I know you say you want us to be blown away, but like, do you just step back and marvel, and even in retrospect to how far you come from where you started, what's that process like with seeing your art and just kind of taking it in?
Man, uh, I so at the core of it all, I am so like just grateful, man. That's all I can say is just grateful, because I wouldn't think picking up a camera and I wouldn't think picking up a camera in the scenario that I started in would have brought me to where I am. Just holistically, that's my whole. I'm just always forever grateful to God. Like, especially, what I mean, in my hometown, I feel like I've done everything else as far as like working. I can do countless jobs until landing on something that I actually like. You know what I mean? And it just was a side hustle. It was not something that I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life. It was just like, let's see how this go. But when I look back at like work that I've done or opportunities that I've had, I'm like always, yeah, I'm literally blown away a lot of times. Sometimes I'm underwhelmed because I'm like, that wasn't that great, but it worked for that scenario. The client was happy or whatever. So it's like a lot of time my thing is like, if the client like it, I love it. But there is work. For instance, I pulled up something today at work just to show somebody a project that we did, because they were asking about the pictures and I didn't have access to them. So I brought my phone, I showed them the pictures, and as I'm looking through this, I'm like, this I don't take a lot of time sometimes to look back at work that I've done and be like, that's pretty good. You know what I mean? And I think too, it's always with me, I'm a little bit of I got a little bit of imposter syndrome. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm just like, dude, you just picked up a camera and you just started hustling, man, to provide for your family. It was like not no motive of like, I'm gonna be the greatest. It was not a Kobe Bryant, it was not a Mamba mentality. It was just like, bro,
how much extra this month, babe? Like, oh, we need, okay, let's get it. It was just that for me. So when I land on something great beyond accomplishing those goals of just providing and just making sure things are taken care of, is always a plus, man. I look back at a lot of work and I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like, it may not even be something monumental as far as like the work or the client itself, but just to see a piece of work and be able to say, man, I did that. Like, it is, man. It's a great feeling, you know?
So I wanted to ask Jason, I know with being an entrepreneur, being a small business owner, you face a lot of challenges. I am one myself. So, you have a lot of ups and downs. It's like a roller coaster. But, at the end of the day, when the client is satisfied with your work, that's great. But have you faced any challenges with racial equity in regards to your work and the things that you do, the services that you provide for others?
That's a good one. Um, hmm. I'm not thinking because I haven't. I'm trying to give. I'm trying.
Right. I
Bobby, I got some
understand.
story. I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to use candor. Like, what is the, like, what's the discretion. What's the best one for right now? Yeah, it's been, I'll say I've had some run-ins with just literally doing my job that I was hired for. Like, literally being in the right place at the right time, dealing with the wrong people or person. Just literally, so in Brunswick, a lot of my start was dealing with the real estate industry in Brunswick. And for whatever reason, I don't know, man. Maybe it's because I look younger than I am. Maybe it's because I didn't come in the neighborhood with a Benz. And they like, hold up, who is this guy that drove in this car? He around here flying a drone. He got a camera. I've literally there's been times when people have tried to literally tell me, you need to leave this neighborhood because no one told us you were coming. Like, I get an access gate code for an open house in a brand new neighborhood where there's all new houses. There may be 3 people living in homes at the time because they're still trying to sell these houses, And some people just feel like if your presence wasn't announced to me and I don't like you and I don't know you, you got some explaining to do. And I'm just cut from the cloth that, man, I'm gonna talk to who I gotta talk to. And if it ain't you, we ain't talking. So I've had I'm trying to be nice as I can, but I've had some run-ins where it literally became borderline of physical threat. And there were times when I ignored it and I stayed and I call a realtor and I put them on speakerphone like, hey, I think we got an issue and I just want you to hear this guy or this lady or whoever. And I want you to hear what they're saying so you can understand that this is the start of it. So if anything goes left from here, you understand how this started. There's, what do we call them? There's Karens, but there's Kens and there's everything in between. When somebody don't want you around or they don't like you and it's just literally based on race, I'm gonna just bottom line it because at the end of the day, if you don't say it, but you're giving me every other signal, but the fact that you won't say it, it has to be at the end. To me, man, you know what I mean? It's just, everything leads to me believing that you don't want me here because I don't look like all your 2 neighbors at the time anyway. But yeah, I faced some challenges, more so within my own like private work for my business. Like in the professional world, I'll say, like, if I've ever worked for a company or I've worked for a church or I've worked for like the job that I have now, currently not so much, besides the fact that there's just always going to be one sore thumb that thinks they can't do anything about it, but they don't like you because they feel like they could have hired somebody else. I just don't talk to you. We don't say good morning. We don't say good afternoon. We don't do none of that. all the formalities are out of the way because I just don't like the fact that this guy's here. And you can just feel it in certain people. I think there's going to be one of those at any corporate level job that you deal with in America, you know. But yeah, I've had my fair share of ups and downs with that. It has never directly hindered me from doing what I need to do and getting in there and getting my money and getting out of there. But it has been a challenge. It's always a challenge to me because of the threat of what can happen from communication that gets misconstrued. We've seen it just timeless, just in current events. We see it over and over. You don't even have to say anything and something can be said to make you look like a villain. So I've always tried my best, man, to do everything mama them taught me, and you know, and try to just make it home. And you know, but at the end of the day, it's very scary when I'm working by myself because I don't have anybody else to vouch for me. I can't call my boss and say, hey, I got a problem out of this client or whatever. It's literally just my word against like a private person or entity or whatever. So yeah, it's a thing.
Jason, just to kind of follow up on what you're saying, your experiences are, you know, kind of ties into, you know, the genesis of this organization and the things that were happening here in Glynn County with regard to the death of Ahmaud Arbery, and how, you know, you brought that to the organization. You brought that understanding of what it feels like to be out there, you know, and people just don't want you where you are. Can you talk about how you processed that event?
Man, Bobby, it's crazy. I actually wasn't a big ordeal, but I had some Facebook back and forth. I remember that time like very, very vivid in my mind because it just taught me more about people, just about like people's perspective on different things, especially when you are not the person that has to directly deal with situations regarding race because you might not be a minority. It just taught me some things that I needed to know, but that I didn't know about certain people. And some of these were people that I actually worked for. I made a post and I said, man, as far as I can't even remember the name of that neighborhood now, but Satilla Shores, I said, as for now, I won't be doing any homes in Satilla Shores. Like, and the reason why it hit me so hard is because maybe a month prior, I had just finished doing a listing for an agent, right? And there's times when agents meet me at listings. I was doing real estate stuff in Brunswick. I feel like over the course of maybe 6 years total before we moved. And I built trust with people. People didn't mind me getting a code to the lockbox and getting in homes and doing stuff like that. But in this particular event, it hit home because this was one of those ones where trust could have put me in harm's way. I got sent to a listing by myself to deal with a homeowner that, of course, I didn't know at the time. The homeowner was fine, but I remember the homeowner was an 85-year-old gentleman. And when we went outside and I started taking pictures outside, he just wanted to walk out and just talk with me. And he was like, man, did you lock your car? I left my drone bag on the back of my trunk. He said, man, you might want to put that in the thing when you go inside. I'm like, Satilla Shores, man, this ain't nobody, we fine. We good. I was like, I'm gonna do the back and then I'm gonna come back. I said, it'll be fine right there. He's like, no, man, put it in your car. And I say, well, why should I put it in my car? And he's like, we've had a series of car break-ins. And we haven't seen anybody. We don't, and we've had cars even stolen out of the neighborhood. I said, really? He said, yeah, nobody can really put a finger on who it is. And a month later, Ahmaud Arbery's incident happened. And it took me about a week of just processing just through just the horror of that event until it dawned on me, like, I just did a house a month ago in Satilla Shores, and they were telling me that they felt that there was some threat of some unknown criminal breaking in, taking people's stuff, doing whatever they're doing. And my mind is like, what if? Because I just was at a point in my journey with doing homes that I was comfortable. I'm walking through backyards, I'm going through the neighbor's side, I'm doing whatever. I'm doing what could look very suspect to some people. You know, I'm coming out there in plain clothes. I got a tripod in my hands. I even mentioned something. I said, from a distance, when you fold up that all black tripod, it could look like you got a gun or something, just the way it all looks. The camera on there, and I got it under my arm, and it look like I might be toting like a hunting rifle or assault rifle or something like that from a distance. And parts of the case were like, just coming to my mind, like they saw him from a distance and it looked like he wasn't doing nothing but running, but it just to them, oh, that's something you hear, your presence alone. So I can only imagine being on that same street that he was on, and not only my presence, but me carrying something that just looked like, oh, he might be up to something, man. He looked young. He looked, I'm not a Mod's age, but he just, from a distance, they might think I'm a younger guy that's just walking around the neighborhood. Maybe he's up to no good. And all of that reality just weighed in on me, and it made me make that post. And it was like, at that time, I was in one of them places like, God will provide. I don't care who hear it. I don't care if the realtors don't call me back. I don't care what. You know what I'm saying? Like, tell your mama. I didn't care at that point, So honestly, to this day, I still feel the same way, because at the end of the day, safety, you know what I mean? Anybody's safety in that point. I don't care if you are a plumber or whatever. I would have told you, if you plan on going in there, man, have your head on the swivel. Because at this point, there's no telling who else feels the way. I remember one realtor that was new to the area that moved down from, I believe it was New York, that they bought a house in Satilla Shores, and one of her walking paths was down the street where they actually shot, where the shooting happened. And she told me she would run into neighbors through her walk every day. And she said, before like everything got involved, we remember how long it took for just action to take place. Even before the protesters come into the house and everything like that, just walking through the neighborhood on a day-to-day basis as a white woman, she was just appalled that most neighbors she interacted with felt like, yeah, they needed to do that. They needed to do that because we don't know what that guy could have done. No, just off of just pure speculation. She was saying this on Facebook, and people were trying to, you shouldn't feel like that. That's not everybody. Well, she like, well, if 5 people, I'm walking down this same street every day, and I'm having a conversation with 5 different neighbors that live in 5 different locations, and and this ain't no group conversation, and they all feeling like, well, I'm glad something happened. I saw that before I made my post. I'm like, well, I know I don't need to be going back up in here because I don't know who else feels threatened right now. And I just don't want to be the brunt of it. So, yeah, man, that thing impacted my mind and my soul, man. For a while. I still think about it. Me and my boss at my current job had long talks about it. He's a Caucasian guy, but he just was in disbelief. As the trial started unfolding, we had moved here. And as they were deciding what was going to go on with him and everything like that, we would talk about it at work. And he was just like, Jason, this is where you're from, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he was trying to ask me, like, what interaction, if any, do you know the guy? Have you? And I was explaining some of the same stuff I'm telling you guys now. And he literally, like, tears were coming in his eye. He just was in disbelief, man. So, yeah, man, it's a real thing that unfortunately we got to be thinking about all the time nowadays.
Kendra.
Is my mic still muted?
You're good.
Okay. And I can definitely, relate to a lot of the things that you're saying, Jason. And when people ask you where you're from, and now you say, Brunswick, Georgia, and you get that, you get those questions, you get, people inquiring about how you feel, or, what's Brunswick like. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about, being raised in Brunswick, how Brunswick has impacted you, and just your, overall experience for people to know about your, hometown.
Oh man, where do you begin with a question like that? Oh my gosh. It's just so much history, man. Like, as y'all can see, I had to come correct today and wear my Better Glynn. Go get y'all
All
some.
right.
I just explained to one of my friends that lives in Houston, Texas now, like, bro, go on. We were on there. I was like, you go get this site because it wasn't on you guys' main website, but abgmerch.store. Get that. I'm going to say it again. abgmerch.store. Come get you some of these memorable location and theme Brunswick and Golden Isle shirts, man. Like, it just was so much on there when I just think about everything from Arco to 4th Street to Glenville to like everything on these shirts just feels like home. I was like, man, these shirts just bring, I'm being real. I'm not even being deep, y'all. They bring comfort to me, like just to have it on and just to see stuff that I grew up with, like Ebo and Gala and Geechee. I just hear my grandmama voice in my head. I could taste the shrimp. You know what I mean? Like, I just remember growing up on the island and swinging from oak trees on the north end when it wasn't built up, when the schoolhouse was still, the roof was falling in, when my great-granddad's house was sitting right next to it. Like all my people from the island to the north side of Brunswick, to the south side, to growing up in Beverly Shores, to going to Alabama Elementary School. Like, I just got Brunswick High. I just got so much, like, good memories, man. I just have so many great memories growing up in Brunswick, man. And I just feel like it's where I got everything about life. I feel like growing up in Brunswick in a lot of ways prepared me for almost anything. And it's crazy to say that being from such a small town, but it's a small town that also has a lot of diversity, from people just coming in to just the types of, like, if you think about it, like the type of industry, jobs, and professions that are still available there, even though it's the hub for a lot of things too, that people know, like, nationally and internationally. It's like the more I get around the United States, and where you from? And you're like, Brunswick. Oh, they mistake it for Savannah a lot of times. That's the place where they got the St. Patrick's. I'm like, not quite, but like, you get a lot of that. Oh, Atlanta? Like, no, not quite. Just Georgia, but not. So, but it's just so many, just so many great memories, man. So many great people, what I mean, that I had the chance to learn from, like a lot of life lessons and things that I actually still, like, keep in my memory bank now to live by. I learned them right there in Brunswick, Georgia. Yeah, man. Y'all said my home. I think Bobby said my hometown. I'm like, this ain't no hometown. This Columbia, South Carolina. I love y'all, but this ain't it. Y'all Geechee too, but not like mine, So it's like, I just got so much love, man. I love coming back home and riding around, and things are different, but I still like just going around and just driving down streets that I used to live on and my old stomping grounds, and just like seeing familiar faces and stuff like that. I love it. So Brunswick is like everything, man. That's my whole foundation. And it's not just my foundation. It's a lot of cornerstones and bricks and pieces of my life that are, it's just the fabric that I'm cut from, man. So yeah, whole lot of history.
So with that, Jason, of course, the Legacy Gala is focused on just that, building those kind of memories for the students here and creating in them a fondness, like you talked about, about how you remember the streets and the neighborhoods, putting the roots down for them so that they can know where they come from, but also, like you, to go forward, go do things, and if you come back, great, but never forget where you came from, just like you're coming back here, for the Legacy Gala. And, anytime, we pick up the phone, you there, you know what I'm saying? Just having a connection that Brunswick becomes the hand and you the yo-yo, that it can pull you back, and not in a bad way, so talking to any kind of student, that would be a beneficiary of the Legacy Gala, what would you tell them about that experience of having those roots here?
Yeah, man. A great philosopher named Bobby Henderson once told me that real relationships require proximity. And I never forgot that, because it's so important and it's so vital to where you end up. As we all know, we have those friends that we don't talk. We may talk to them every 6 months. We may, you know what I mean? But there's something about the proximity that we were built on that it follows you literally for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? There's things, there's interactions, there's conversations, there are experiences that you embrace them when you're in that. If you're a student, you should be a sponge. If you're currently in an environment, you know, based on this is my personal foundation. If you're in an environment, just take it that God has allowed you to be there for whatever season or whatever phase of your life is, so that you can experience all of it. Something that we learned from some close friends since moving here was, and this was a tough one for me, is that when you're even going through challenging experiences, which we know being a student is full of them, it can be from the financial standpoint, it can just be relationally. You can have a lot going on in your life while you're trying to get your education, while you're trying to just get through life, and you're young, and it's a lot of things that are outside of your control. You wish you were in a better environment. You wish you had a better place to live. You wish you had a better laptop. You just wish somebody would throw you a helping hand. It's a tough thing to be a student, and I highly empathize with it. But don't forget that in your experience, right where you are, let that season embrace all of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and don't be afraid to feel the feelings of disappointment, the feelings of fear, the feelings of I wish I was in a different place, the feelings of, oh man, I'm tired of Brunswick, all the stuff that you may feel. Embrace all of that and go ahead and get that part over with, so you can start actually learning. Because as a student, you have to remain a sponge. So get over the tough parts so that you can get the good stuff out of it. You know what I mean? Don't only absorb the things that you feel negatively about. Allow the great things to impact you just as much, so that you do not forget the proximity that you had to your biggest lessons. Don't ever forget that some of your biggest lessons come from some of the smallest places, some of the most non-notable people, some of the most basic situations, just the grassroots things that you learn in life. A lot of them don't change. I don't care if because you go to Hollywood or I'm going to Atlanta. Go to Atlanta. It's principle gonna still be principle. You know, like foundation integrity gonna be integrity. Getting up on time and being on time for work gonna still be up on time. You gonna operate you gonna move to Atlanta and operate in your same little 5-mile radius you go to every day, the same sit-go gas station. You gonna eat the same honey bun on the way to work. Ain't finna get brand new because you moved from Brunswick. Don't ever think that. You may experience some cool things. You may see some different places, but a lot of times don't ever lose your foundation, because that's what you're built on, not only in the season that you're starting, that's what you're built on in every other season that you go to. If you don't have a strong foundation, everything else you build on top of that, it's just going to topple down. So embrace every experience that you're having right now as a student, and just learn from that. And let that be your core. Let that be your core. Everything else will get added in due time.
Kendra?
So what can we expect from you beyond the Legacy Gala, and your work and what you have planned for your next season of business?
Man, your boy getting old. So at this point, just trying to just maintaining and learning balance. You know, my son's getting a lot older. I think I'm like tuned in to like what's happening in his life right now. He'll be 15 this year. And I'm just trying to, you know, we about to start about to have to regulate my mind and watch him drive in my car. Lord help me, Jesus. And so like, just a lot of new chapters are unfolding for me, even outside of work. So I think right now it's just working to solidify or bridge any gaps that I've missed along the way. And I've missed a lot. I'm not no perfect person by a long shot. So I'm just literally, as a dad, as a husband, as a friend, all these different things, just trying in this season to create balance in everything, in business, in family, you know, in everything. I always tell people, man, something's always coming soon with me. I'm just not gonna give you no ETA, but it'll happen when it happens.
That's good.
Yeah.
Jay, so one of the things that we've added to ABG this year and the Justice Journey and all that we're doing in our leadership development is we are funding our first scholarships, and we are so excited about that. Now, we're a little bit different. We are equity-based organization, so we know everybody ain't going to college. But we implore folks to get a trade. So we are also including trade scholarships in our scholarship funding as a tradesman and as the husband of a college graduate. Can you talk about the importance of choosing one of those paths as you leave this childhood and enter into adulthood?
Yes, man. You literally are all inside of my wheelhouse right now. This is just like the conversations me and my son have on a weekly basis. And that is deciding a clear path. A path is not the destination. So I think the biggest part when you're young is being like, whatever I choose, oh man, that's gonna be it. You know what I mean? You just have this strong inclination that I'm gonna go to school and I'm a master. And for some people, it may work like that. For some people, whether going to college or trade, it may work like that. But what I would say is find something. And nowadays, it is just so much access. It's so much access to so many things. Discover something, research something now, look it up, read a book, get online, listen to a podcast, a vlog, a blog, or whatever you need to do to start honing on the things that you are passionate about. Like things that are connected to what you may consider even your purpose. Like you feel like, well, I just love talking, and I just love what career. Y'all got so much. Boy, if you don't get on, girl, boy, whoever, woman, man, get on Chat GPT and ask a question. Get on Google, get on something and say, what? I love to talk. What are good careers based in this? I love to write. I'm talented at science. I'm good at math. What are the top careers? Just narrow it down to something to start with, because there's so much diversity in the workplace right now, in the corporate world, in entrepreneurship. Things are ever changing, as we can see right before our eyes. And I think just starting somewhere, like they say, the hardest part about doing anything is literally just starting. If you get a start, everything else, all the other doors that you need will open along the way. Even the doors that may be the exit door for that career or that choice that you made to, well, I don't even really like this. I shouldn't have picked that major. Get that degree though, man, and figure something else out. A lot of times what you don't realize is that the qualifications that you need in the long run may not even be the ones you went to school for. Technically, I'm supposed to have a bachelor's degree to do what I do at my job. But my resume is so much stronger than my degree would have ever been that they said, you know what, bump that. We looked at his website. I don't care about no bachelor's degree. So start doing something. If it's a passion, it doesn't matter where you're working now. Pursue that passion on the side. If it's more serious for you and you are like, I know college is the thing, I just don't know what it's going to be. Don't take forever, man. Just get started. You can always change that major. You can always, like, I am a Kanye West college dropout. Like, I just was like, man, I want to make some money. I'm tired of this. So for whatever your path may be, you're gonna find the solution. It's gonna tell you whether you need to take yourself back to school or stay where you at. Life gonna tell you. One thing about life is a great communicator if you listen. It's a very strong communicator. So starting is the biggest thing. Life can't tell you nothing if you won't do anything. Nothing in, nothing out. Garbage in, garbage out. Like that's, to me, that's the biggest thing, is get a start and make a decision, because life is going to be full of decisions that you don't have a lot of time to waste. Make the decision now. College, trade school. I'm going to find something that even if it's not the most, I'm not the most passionate about. I know it was hard for me. I was diagnosed with ADHD in the 11th grade, and I just couldn't decide nothing. I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm going to be a drummer or a plumber. You know what I'm saying? That was my whole high school. I'm just like, man, I'm going to drop out, or I'm going to go. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to just, I don't know. So when you get something and you feel like it's the strongest thing for that season, just start there. Just start there and figure out the rest later. But you got to have a solid foundation. You got to start somewhere, or you're not going anywhere at all.
And what was your aha moment?
Aha moment.
Like, this is it for me.
As far as what I do now,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if I've had that, to be honest. I would say an aha moment for me inside of what I do now, I guess I would say, is that it literally gives me as much as I put into it. And so my biggest aha moment has been like, bro, you could actually do this in whatever way you want to do this, depending on what you put in. Like, you could do this full time. You could do this part time. You could have retainer clients. I think the possibilities remain my aha moment. And that's where now, when you ask me like, what's next? I'm literally in the valley of decision myself, where I'm the same. That's why I was able to preach that little sermon in between so good, because I'll be looking in the mirror like, all you need to do is, this season, you need to right now focus on these 3 things and stop looking at all that other stuff. I'm saying I deliver the same way that I have to give it to myself. So I think that, to me, my aha moment always remains like, man, I'm always amazed that it can go whatever direction that you put effort into. Whatever area, how much ever you're willing to put into it, that much can come out. And that's why, dealing with students and young people, I always tell them, man, just start something. Like that valley of decision of sitting there like, I think I want to do this. We deal with a lot of, the reason I can, like, I'm almost internalizing this as you asked. We deal with a lot of volunteers at my church, and a lot of them are from that 18 to 25-year-old group, and I work with them every week on Sundays. Like, brother Jason, what should I do? And what should I live in the land of giving that advice. Like, man, do something. Just stop asking me questions. That's what we're gonna do this week. Do this, and this. Make you a little checklist. That's works the best for me. If I need to get anything done, if I write it down, the more you look at that undone stuff, the more it just disturbs your soul. Like, you know what? I actually am lazy. I need to get on this. So yeah, man. Yeah. I feel like if you're looking for an aha moment, look within and be like, I gotta start, man. I gotta start somewhere,
Bro, you preaching good. You preaching real good. I'm not even bullsiving with you.
Right, with my to-do list on the other side of this phone.
And to put it up in your mirror. Put it right there on your laptop screen.
I am, for sure.
So listen, we're getting close to that time. It's always great talking to you. I'm so thankful for your path, for our path together. Just what you did for ABG. People don't know, when you go to ABG's website, you seeing Jason Fields, you seeing his work, the work of his hands. He has been invested from day one in making sure that we have everything that we need, that he can provide. And sometimes for me, that's just an encouraging word to keep going. And we are thankful to have you along for the ride for the Legacy Gala. Like I said before, it's important for us to support small businesses, minority businesses. Uh, Jason and my good sister Paula, his wife, are both minority business owners. And it's just important for us to walk out exactly what our mission is and how we do business. So, Jason, if you would just kind of close us out in with talking about being a minority business owner, and how you kind of model that for other folks, um, with regard to how, like you said before, how to get started is just to start something, but
Yeah.
also, just being deeply connected to other small businesses and supporting their work as well.
I disconnected myself, y'all. I would say the best approach is the right approach. Me and my wife, we just like literally like I'm an 80s baby, man. I just come up in the hustle era. So my start was more like, oh, you can make money with this? I'm starting tomorrow. that's my business personality is executor. Don't call me to get the LLC started. Don't call me to, write your articles of incorporation. Don't call me to give you a financial plan for the year, none of that stuff. Like when it's game time, put me in the game, coach. I'm about to run this play. That's where you have to know your strengths. So I would say start there, know your strengths, and do a lot of research on the industry that you're going into. As minority business owners, the reason why you really need to do that too is because we have a lot of opportunities. Go before you get started. Do a lot of YouTube University, but also check in with like your local, is it SBAs, your small business associations, every local place. I am amazed everywhere we go, even when we moved here, the people that are like, have you checked with the SBA? They looking for this right now. They say they'll help you if you got this kind of business. If you do this, like it's always mind blowing to me, like the resources that are available to us as minorities in the world of like grants and loans and even just assistance from like private organizations and stuff like that. I just learn as I go with that because I'm not like versed in it. But I would say do a lot of research on a lot of research on funding, do a lot of research on everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly about the realm you're going into, and look at that from a minority. Get a lot of your analytics from a minority perspective. If you can find another business owner that does that. I don't know of a business owner that I've ever encountered that wouldn't love to do anything more than sit down with somebody starting out and just give some free game. Even if you got to pay a little bit for it, just it's worth it. You want to go into the restaurant industry, go look up somebody locally that's doing what you do and go ask them, hey man, hit them, go to their Instagram, just DM, hey, can I pay for some of your time? Can I sit down? Can I buy you lunch one day and just ask you like the ins and outs? Like, I want to get started in this. It's a passion. That's my advice is whatever it takes to start out the right way, do that. There's things that I wish I had done first, like set up the right type, structure my bank accounts the right way. LLC, protect yourself. Find out all your tax situations. Go sit down with a CPA and let them know what you're trying to do so they can tell you the best plan for that. Like everything you can, because it's a lot easier to start correctly than to try to backtrack and you're already in the middle of a tax situation, or, oh my God, I should have had this in place and I could have benefited in that way and I wouldn't have had to go over here. Just get the business in place first. And then go forward, because then you're all set. Have at it. Get your structure, get your foundation in place first, and then learn as much. Backtrack me, Bobby, on the first part of that question, because I think I jumped to the last part, like giving recommendations on what to do going in business for new minority business owners, but I'm trying to remember the first part.
Oh man, you hitting on it no matter what.
Oh.
But just supporting other minority business owners. And I think you're talking about that with just, their wisdom and how to glean from them.
Yes, man. And go show love, man. I feel like, golly, help me if I don't want to be wrong for saying this, man. But it's something about when when we gonna show love, we showing love. You know what I'm saying?
It makes a great
if we
impact.
with you, we with you, cuz. If we with you, we with you. Go support some people that look like you, that are doing it the right way. Don't sit from a distance and critique. You could critique all day long. You're gonna find something to critique. Go get you a cookie, go do something that they make. Go buy one of their dresses. Go do something and tell the world about it. Don't have all this technology and sit there and, oh, I bought it, but I'm gonna put it in the closet somewhere. No, man, go help. That's the only way people know nowadays. 90% of the day we're on our phone. Get on that phone and shout somebody out, man. If you had a good experience, shout them out, man. Don't sit there and be stingy with your responses, man. We need it. As small business owners, we need it. But also, as consumers, we need to like encourage that amongst each other, man. I really think that's the key, is like showing like verbal. Get on there and make a little video on your phone, or just go live and be like, hey, y'all better come out to this place, man. They got whatever. Check them out. It helps. It really does. It means everything. It means more than everything. It really does.
Jay, we appreciate you, bro.
Yes.
Thankful for you to drop by and drop this wisdom on us. Thankful for the work that you're doing, how you're representing the BWK wherever you go. Thankful for you coming back. And we didn't ask Jason to come back for free. When I say we support his business, we support his business, right? And I want to add that. Don't be asking for freebies. Go out and support business on the real. But thank you for everything that you're doing, bro. I'm older than you, so I can say this. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of everything that you're doing as a man, as a husband, as a father. You're doing good work, and we need representation like you to talk about in Brunswick, man. So keep repping your hood, and thank you guys for sliding through on us. And we will catch y'all on the flip. Thank y'all.
And
thank y'all so
if
much.
you want to learn more about the Legacy Gala, make sure that you visit the brunswickinitiative.org. We have 23 more days before our gala is here, May the 4th, Saturday at 6 p.m. at Queen and Grant. It's going down. So you guys, please look up the website, visit the website, and learn about everything that we're doing, all the impact we plan on making. And we appreciate all the sponsors. We appreciate everyone that supports us near and far. Thank you for purchasing tickets. Thank you for letting us know that you're here, you support us, and the love that you're giving each and every person that's a part of what we're doing. So thank you guys so much.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Good night.